Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Today's first story comes from a throwaway account who says, my 25 male father, 55 male, had an affair with my fiancée, 25 female. My mum died 4 years ago from cancer, and me and my fiancé used to go to his place for dinner. Nothing unusual about that. He was lonely, but lately his mood had improved and I was about to find out why. So yeah, my dad invited us over to dinner, and then after dinner they told me they needed to talk to me, which was odd to hear dad say we needed to tell you something. Turns out they've had a sexual relationship for over 3 months, and me being a moron asked how many times, and I was starting to hyperventilate at that point, and they were both reluctant to share that. I eventually got the full story. Won't write that here as painful enough, and feeling stupid for asking, I walked out and left them both, and told dad, you want her, you can keep her, you are both finished with me, and told my fiancée to give me the keys to my apartment. She was crying as she was struggling to get the key off of her chain. I did it for her and gave her the other keys back and told her I would pack her things and she could come over and pick it up when I was finished. Her mum came over and picked up her things. She actually sent her mum to do it. I let her in and she had gotten the full story and was so sorry for everything and hoped I would get through this. My dad, and I guess my ex-fiancée, now has been texting and calling me for the last week, not responded or answered any of their calls, and my dad even called the cops because he was worried I might hurt myself. Oh geez, thanks for your concern for my mental health, dad. Maybe you should have considered that before fucking my fiancée. So I get 2 officers at my door who told me they have received a call from my dad worried I might harm myself, and I told the officer I was not suicidal and explained what happened, and they both looked disgusted and apologized for bothering me and what I was going through. The look of pity from the officers made me feel worse, and I felt ashamed having to tell these 2 guys. Not sure why I felt the shame, but I did. Anyways, dad wants me to talk to him and I have no idea what to do here. I have no other family, no aunts or uncles, and now no fiancé either anymore. I have kept busy by going to the gym and trying to live my life as normally as possible. My fiancé has moved back with her parents, but she is apparently still in contact with my dad since dad keeps texting me that she is worried about me. Apparently, I am the arsehole here since he feels that I should not treat her this way. So yeah, I am an arsehole here apparently, so I mean, what do I even do here? I ended it with her clearly, but then there is my dad who is now trying to fix things and wants me to forgive her. I honestly just want them both to leave me alone. And it's always going to come down to that trust thing for me. There's no way to rebuild this relationship in my opinion, you know. How would you ever trust either of those 2 again from what they've done to you? People that you should be able to love and trust with everything, and they've betrayed you like this. I just can't ever see a way of coming back from that. And apparently he's calling you the arsehole and you should not treat her this way. Absolute cheeky bastard. But Zealous Ideal says, bruh, I'm sorry. My ex-husband had an affair with my stepmom after we had been married for 9 years and had 3 kids. My own father told me it was my fault for bringing him into the family and not being the wife he deserved. Then 100% disowned me for leaving his cheating ass. Seriously, my dad and stepmom take him and my kids on vacation and financially support him. I was the breadwinner, which meant I emasculated him, and they have not spoken to me since I started the divorce. The trash took itself out. You deserve better. Bruce Shark says, this is horrible. You have been betrayed by both of them and deeply hurt. Please take all the time you need. Stay in no contact with them both is okay. Consider a therapist to help you work through all the feelings around this so you can feel it all and hopefully start to heal. RTJ says, for fuck's sake, dude, I'm sorry. You're doing the right thing. You can't ever mend things with your dad. Then what, bring a new girlfriend home to meet him eventually? Besties out of your life so you can eventually move on. Give yourself time to grieve both relationships. What's my password says, tell your dad to not contact you again or you'll have to file a restraining order. He doesn't get to choose how you respond to his betrayal. Do it in a text and make sure to let him know your mum would think he was the worst dad ever and she'd never forgive him. The officers didn't think less of you, they thought less of your dad. No one will judge you for what your dad and ex-fiancé did to you. Cheating defines the cheater, not the one cheated on. Peace to you. Maybe moving to a new city and starting fresh would be awesome. And one more from Vertical Perception, who says in quotes, "My dad and I guess ex-fiance now been texting and calling me for the last week," and then says, "Where was their concern for you while they were hooking up? Both your father and your girlfriend are garbage people with garbage morality. They're not concerned about you. They're too busy with their narcissistic performance art and trying to manipulate you to actually be worried or care about you or your well-being. At most, they don't want everyone to know what truly morally bankrupt people they are and are simply doing damage control. Your sperm donor does not deserve the title of father and should never be viewed as such again. No decent human being, let alone decent father, would do what he did to you. It's not just trash girlfriend who is at fault. It takes two to tango, as they say. Block them both. Do not respond to either of them. Do not waste another minute of your life on them. Find a way to move on with your life without either of them. Always remember that this is who they both really are. Your father wants you to talk to him so he can feel better. Also, you will feel better. It's all about him." So then OP comes in to update the post, which says, "Hey everybody, thanks for all the messages and advice. I did not expect this post to blow up as much as it did, and I just wanted to post an update on how things stand. First of all, I'm doing okay. In fact, I've slept well these last few nights and have had support from some unexpected places. Many of you wanted me to go public and tell everyone. Well, I did not have to. My now ex-fiancée took care of that for me. She told her best friend, expecting sympathy. Instead, she raged at her, and now most of her friends and mine are now fully aware of what has happened. Her best friend called me and we spoke for over an hour. Apparently, whatever angry thoughts I may have had regarding my now ex-fiancée was nothing to what her and her friends subjected her to. They've completely cut her off, and they even asked her if she slept with any of their fathers. Her best friend also told me that she still believes I will forgive her and that she wants me back. Not happening, and seems to be a little, shall we say, unstable right now. She seems like a total wreck. I also spoke to her parents and told them to give her time and don't kick her out. Honestly, despite what she did, I don't want her to do anything stupid. Her parents are probably more pissed at her than I am. I also met Dad and we spoke in person, and honestly, the reason we spoke is that I wanted to pick up some things from home and I had a friend with me, just in case I felt the urge to punch him. He made no attempt at small talk and my friend was walking very close by me like he was expecting me to attack him and was ready to restrain me if it happened. So that's the update. Girlfriend is a nervous wreck dumped by all her friends. Her BFF and I have become good friends. No, we're not sleeping together or anything like that, but she has supported me and we've kept talking on the phone. She had been cheated on herself, but she could not even begin to imagine what I went through. Honestly, I feel okay. And as for my dad, I've cut him off completely after I got some of my mum's things, including her wedding ring. I told him I'm taking this and he did not argue, and I said you can have this and gave him my engagement ring. Not expensive, and honestly I did not know what I was going to do with it anyways. He just looked at me and now finally it dawned upon him just how badly he had messed up. I also told him to stop telling her that I may forgive her. You're messing with her head and she needs to realize it's over. He said he would not contact her again, and I told him I did not care if he did or not. I got into the car and left and felt a lot better. So that's the update, folks. I may have gone too far with the ring business, but honestly, if he wants her, then he can marry her. I had a great support from many people, including here, and ready to move the hell on. But if you have any questions, I can try to answer if anything is unclear. And OP didn't leave any more additional information in that post, but they did post a final update as well, which just said, "Hi, just decided to post one final update since I've been bombarded with questions on how I'm doing and if anything has happened. I am doing okay. My dad and my ex-fiancée have not contacted me at all and have left me alone. I've had moments where I felt lonely and angry, but had people who have been there for me. My ex-fiancée's BFF and I have gotten close and we decided to go on a trip, me and her. We're not together, but we have gotten close. Dad and my ex-fiancée, like many predicted, have been talking and someone spotted them together in town. I kinda suspected it would happen. It honestly does not bother me, they deserve each other, and just thankful I found out before I married her. More people have found out what happened now. Dad and her have lost a huge part of their social circle, so I guess with many disgusted with them both, they found each other and misery loves company after all. I also made it clear to my other friends if they want to contact her and talk to her, that also does not bother me and I don't want to control anyone. Don't make anyone feel that they have to stay away from her because of me. I'm not going to be a vindictive arsehole, that only hurts me in the long run. So to summarize, I'm doing okay, still seeing a therapist, and have gotten close to my ex-fiance's former best friend. I do get depressed and feel anger and lonely sometimes, but I've learned to deal with it. I spent an entire weekend cleaning my apartment to get my ex's perfume smell out of my apartment, since that was a big trigger for me. Decided to buy a new bed and couch and redecorated a bit. Sold the old bed and my old couch, and honestly, it feels like a new apartment. A fresh start, if you will. Thanks to everybody for your advice, concerns and comments, and they helped a lot and needed to vent about it. And I was absolutely blown away that, Dad thought you could talk this through, that, you're just going to forgive and forget and move on. Like, holy shit, no. But I do like the way OP dealt with it, and they're just moving on with their lives. Yes, they said they have some down moments, but they're actually moving on and getting closer to the BFF, which I think is a nice thing. Doesn't sound like they're moving fast either, which sounds wonderful. It's like the saying, and I always forget how the saying is something like living your best life is the best form of revenge, and I hope that's what OP continues to do. But what do you guys make of this situation? How would you deal with it if you was OP? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. And our next story does come with an update as well. It's from Spirited Pianist 7747, who says, "Am I the arsehole for yelling at my boyfriend because his parents' dog ruined my anniversary gift? My 22 female boyfriend, 23 male, and I had our anniversary. He bought me a book for our anniversary that I've been wanting to read for years. I was so excited to go home and read it. We went to his parents' house to use the restroom, and I left my book on the table because we were going to go out for a bit for the rest of our date night. During our date night, his mother called and said their dog had ripped through my book, but I could still read it. I started crying and my boyfriend started laughing. I told him that it wasn't funny. We went along with the rest of our date and had fun. We got back to his parents' house 2 hours later and I saw the book was in shambles. Any avid reader would know that just because you can read a torn up book doesn't mean it's actually readable. The first few pages were torn, the edges were bit off, and there was slobber all over it. I began to cry again and said, 'This isn't right.' To which my boyfriend started laughing at me. This dog had previously torn up my purse, wallet, makeup, etc., and I let it go, but this was too far. I became really angry and started yelling at him to not laugh at me, and he continued to do so. At this point, I grabbed my stuff and stormed off to my car. He came outside and started saying, 'I wasn't laughing, it's a $20 book, I don't see why you're acting like this.' To me, it wasn't just a book, it was an anniversary gift that I was ready to baby and cherish for the rest of my life. I just wanted to leave as I felt like my feelings were not being validated. His mum came outside and said, 'Don't you think you're being a little dramatic?' This book meant a lot to me. I'm quite poor at the moment and I'm not really a materialistic person. I know it can be replaced, but I feel like his parents should have taken accountability and replaced the damaged property. My boyfriend should have validated my feelings. So Reddit, am I the arsehole? Edit. I should probably clarify a few things. No, I did not leave it on the coffee table. I left it on a high table where I've been leaving my things lately. When the dog ripped up my purse and wallet, I left it on a chair. So now I leave my stuff on higher tables. I don't like to leave valuable items in my car because we live in a big city and my car has been broken into. Also, I mentioned in the replies that I was raised by a single mum, and because of that, I didn't have a lot compared to other people. Books also helped me escape when I was thinking about committing suicide. Yes, I have mental health issues, which makes me more sensitive than others. It's gotten better, but I know I'm not perfect. I am in therapy. And we're going to start off with Bailey the Nerd, who says, "Not the arsehole. You have every right to be upset that your book was destroyed, and your boyfriend's an arsehole for laughing about it getting destroyed. Your boyfriend's parents should have immediately offered to replace it. Also, info desperately needed. Why'd you keep leaving your possessions in his parents' house in places where the dog can get to them? Seriously, if it destroyed your purse, wallet, etc., at some point you should be a little smarter about where you place things. Obviously, they should train their dog better and should replace anything broken. But at the same time, if this happened multiple times, you should be a little smarter around their dog." Cream Pie Lover, oh god, replies to that saying, "This whole thing makes no sense. Your boyfriend gave you the book somewhere, after which you transported the book in his or your car to your boyfriend's parents' home to go to the washroom, and then you left the gift at the parents' house, in a place you know from experience has a dog that likes to chew, rather than take the book with you. To which Opie replied saying, he lives with his parents. We just went there to use the restroom and go to our next destination. In retrospect, I should have taken the book with me, but in the moment, I didn't think the dog could get it where I left it. Def not leaving anything anywhere anymore. Lol. Righteous Vengeance says not the arsehole. For everything you said, your boyfriend at the very least should not have been laughing at you, then lying about it, if he wasn't going to validate your feelings. And I would advise his mother that she's going to replace every item her dog has destroyed. She'll either train that dog not to destroy things or she will be paying for it. JRM says everyone sucks here. You left an item around a dog you knew was destructive. Everyone else could be slightly more sympathetic, I suppose, and they should have taken better care of the dog, but also you're being a tad melodramatic about a book that can easily be replaced. AJT says not the arsehole. Yes, it is a book that may only be $20 and could be easily replaced, but the reactions you got from your boyfriend and his parents are really crappy. You were hurt and upset, then he laughed at you. The fact that the parents' dog chewed up your stuff repeatedly and now this, they should have at least been apologetic and offered to replace the book, or even just your boyfriend knowing you were upset. Should have told you he'd get you a new one. The Riker Maneuver says, everyone sucks here. I hate to be that person, but you have a car and you left the book in a place where you know there is a dog who likes to destroy your things. Yes, your boyfriend is an a-hole for the immature way he is handling all of this, but you own some of the blame for this mishap for leaving the book in the first place instead of putting it in your car or taking it with you. You should know by now not to leave anything near that dog, much less something you claim you are going to cherish. It's okay to be upset with your boyfriend for him laughing at you and not seeing how big of a deal this was. It's also okay to be upset with his parents and how they didn't take responsibility for their animal. They 100% should have been apologetic and offered to buy a new one. But at the same time, you need to take responsibility for leaving the book in the first place when you know there is a destructive animal and humans who don't take responsibility for what the dog destroys. And Tricky Flamingo says everyone sucks here. The dog clearly isn't very well trained, so the parents suck. Your boyfriend is an arsehole for mocking you and not even pretending to offer sympathy for your items being destroyed. And I say this gently, you do suck a little bit for not learning your lesson and still leaving items around that dog when you specifically mention that the dog has ruined multiple items of yours before. Personally, I suggest breaking up with a boyfriend. He seems like an inconsiderate, thoughtless arsehole. Plus, that will also help solve the dog problem, since you'd never have to visit the parents again. So then, OP went on to update the post, which says, wow, did not expect so many comments. I honestly thought I'd get a few comments and be able to delete. I just want to say that I love my boyfriend and his parents. I talked to my mum and she gave me a bit of insight. My boyfriend is not a cruel person and does everything he can to take care of me. He's helped me out since I can't work at the moment. My mum thinks he was laughing at not me, but at the fact that he couldn't figure out what to do as it's not his dog, so the "I didn't laugh at you" comment makes sense. I talked to him and his mum gave them my perspective. They understood and his mum apologized, so thought I stormed off because the dog ruined the book. But I told her it was because my boyfriend was laughing at me and called me dramatic, and she called me dramatic. We hugged it out. My boyfriend apologized for laughing and said he didn't mean to laugh but that he just didn't know what to do. I apologized to them for yelling and storming off. I told him I'm just going to start leaving stuff in my boyfriend's closet. His mother told me she cries all the time because of the dog destroying things she loves constantly. She didn't offer to replace it, but I've decided to just let it go because I don't like asking people for things. I think things ended well. I can kind of tell they aren't used to having an emotional person like myself around, so I'm going to try to start practicing patience. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? How would you deal with it if you was OP? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in the channel. Your love, support and time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.
Brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Drink some water, brush my teeth. better not stretch. Better my hair is a mess.